What's up, guys? Tony G here, coming to you live hotel and casino. This is episode 77 of Live Alone. In this episode, they're having a $160 double green chip bounty tournament. It's Saturday morning. Tomorrow I'm heading to Atlantic City. There's no poker in Atlantic City right now, so we're going to enter this tournament, see if we can take it down, or at least cash. Hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. Guys, it's Saturday morning. There's a tournament live. Let's go. And real quick, if you're new here, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe buttons. Make sure you hit that bell notification for all my new vlogs. And if you're returning, I appreciate you guys stopping back by. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let's go win this tournament. Alright, we are in level 1. Blinds are 100, 200, 200. I have the king of diamonds, the 9 of spades. I'm in the cutoff. It folds to me. I call the 200. We're heads up to the flop with the big blind. And the flop comes out the 9 of diamonds, the 8 of hearts, and the ace of spades. The big blind bets 400. I look at my cards. I do connect with the board, so I do decide to call the 400. The turn is the king of hearts, giving me 2 pair now. The big blind actually checks to me, and I throw out a bet of 400. The big blind calls, and the river is just a brick. It's nothing major. It's a 5 of clubs. The big blind checks to me again, and this time I just decide to throw out a ridiculous bet of 3,000 to see if they'll call. Big blind didn't, mucks his cards, and we take down our first pot of the night. Alright, it's level 2. Blinds are 200, 300, 300. I have the king of hearts. I have the 4 of hearts. I'm on the button. I call the 300 big blind, but the big blind raises it to 600, which I do call. We go 3 ways to the flop. The flop is the queen of hearts, the 7 of hearts, and the ace of spades. I obviously have a decent flush draw. The big blind throws out a bet of 1,200. The under the gun folds. I double check my cards to make sure I have 2 hearts. I do. So I go ahead and throw out the 1,200. We're now heads up to the turn. And the turn is the wonderful, wonderful 2 of hearts, giving me the king high flush. It actually checks to me. Big blind checks to me, and I throw out a bet of 1,200 to continue. The big blind basically calls right away, and the river is the ace of spades. The big blind checks to me, and I throw out a bet of 2,500, and he tanks and tanks and tanks some more. But ultimately, he just mucks his cards and says good hand, and we take down that pot without having to show the king high flush. Still in level 2. The blinds are 200, 300, and 300 big blind ante. I have the ace of spades and the jack of diamonds. I'm in the small blind. The under the gun +1 and middle position folds. The button folds, and it gets to me, and I raise it up to 1,600. The the big blind folds, and only the undergun calls, and we're heads up to the flop, which is the jack of spades, the 8 of spades, and the 10 of diamonds. I decide to down bet to 1200. The under the gun thinks for a second. Doesn't look like he wants to call, but ultimately does call. And the turn is the Queen of Hearts. I check my cards and throw out a bet of 2200. And the under the gun mucks his cards, and we have another pot one. Okay, in this hand, I have the Jack of Hearts, the Nine of Hearts. I'm in middle position. It gets raised up to 800. I decide to call, and a couple other people fold, and the small blind and the button, I believe, call. So we are 3 ways to the flop, and the flop is kind of decent, but kind of not. It's the King of Diamonds, the 8 of Hearts, and the Ace of Diamonds. So I do have the flush draw going with a straight flush draw going. I look at my cards. After it checks to me, I bet 800. The small blind goes all in for like 22,000 at the time, and the button calls, and that's just way too much for me, and I decide to fold my hand here. Okay, I believe it's the end of level 3. Blinds are 300, 600, 600. I have the Ace of Clubs, the 7 of Hearts. I'm in middle position. We go heads up to the flop after a lot of people tank. And the flop is the King of Diamonds, the Queen of Hearts, and the 7 of Spades. The button actually checks, and I check. And the turn is the 10 of Spades. I throw out a bet of 4,000, and the button doesn't think for too long, but ultimately he does call. And the river is the King of Spades. Now, I didn't feel too good about this card, but I'm going to try to represent it. And I down bet, actually. Looking back, I probably should have bet more than I did. And I bet 3,000. And the button actually tanks. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, maybe I'm going to get this through with a pair of 7s. But ultimately, he looks at me and goes, I can't let this go. I have 2 pair. And I'm thinking, oh, shit. Here we go. He actually calls and flips over the Queen of Spades and the 10 of Hearts for 2 pair, and we lose this one. I lost a lot of money in this one on a dumb bet on the river. I limp all the way to level 4 or 5, I can't remember which, but I barely have any money left. I have a pair of 2s, 2 of diamonds, 2 of hearts. It gets to me, and this is the first pocket pair I had seen in about 30 minutes. So I just rip it all in there with 6,300 left. The big blind and the under the gun actually call, and it's not even close. I have no chance. The first 3 cards put me dead to rights. It's the Ace of Diamonds, the Queen of Diamonds, and the 7 of Hearts. Checks all the way through for those guys. They got 3 of Hearts on the turn, the 5 of Spades on the river. The villain flips over the 7 of Spades and the 7 of Diamonds for a flopped set, and I'm out of the tournament, and that's all she wrote. And we're out. Like 38th place or something out of 65. Early on the cards were good. After level 3 though, it just all went downhill. I made some mistakes, but I guess we'll get them next time. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Leave me a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.